Are you doing
So here's our HP TX1000.
Or vanilla.
We're going to turn it on. And you can see the screen does not come on at all. The light's on, keyboard light's on, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't beep. No BIOS screen. Totally dead. So we're going to pop out the battery, and we're going to take out the hard drive real quick. And this is just part of taking out the case for the motherboard. My wife thinks this is a little funny. Like it's one of those weird people you see on YouTube or something.
That you watch.
Because you're probably going to see this weird person on YouTube. Alright, well we're taking out all the screws. I don't know all the screws that have to come out, but I'm just going to really take them all out because I've never opened up this particular laptop. In fact, I don't take out that many laptops at all. So we've got the motherboard taken out of the case. We've gotten 4 screws out on the CPU right here. This is the GPU, which is where the problem is. We take those 4 pieces out. We're going to clip off right here where it plugs into the motherboard and then take off the cooling. So now we're going to outline the motherboard itself, and the reason we're doing this is because we're creating a protective covering for when we apply the heat. And this is going to allow us to measure exactly where to let the heat in to the motherboard. We've now measured on the GPU about the same size that we're going to cut a hole into the cardboard for to expose the area in the cardboard to overlay onto the GPU. So now we have our cardboard with our hole cut, which maps up against the GPU. We're going to cover it in tin foil and fold that around. And now we're going to make a small depression where our little GPU hole is. And we're going to cut it. For that hole, we'll then fold everything back, and this will make up our heat shield for when we actually burn the motherboard. And we want to fold it back, not in, so that the heat that the aluminum is going to absorb is not going to go towards the motherboard. We're going to line up our GPU where we made our outline on our cardboard before. The hole should be right behind here. Now, we're going to flip it over. And then we're not going to move this. When we get our light, that's where we're going to burn. So now we have our heat shield with a hole in it, and the back of the motherboard where the video processor is, and a 150 watt or 200 watt bulb. And we're going to turn it on and fry the bottom of the motherboard for about 2 minutes. When we're done frying the motherboard, we're going to turn it over and use this towel and press the chip down into the motherboard. This is the GPU, for about 1 minute. And that's going to take the solder that the prior motherboard heat, when the motherboard overheated, it detached the GPU, and we're going to press it back in. We've used this thermal conductant compound, and we put just a tiny drop of it. This one is silver based. Put a tiny drop of it on the card, and we used a business card just to spread into a very thin layer. And that's going to help help fill the gaps to help the penny conduct electricity, or conduct heat. And since the penny is has gaps in it, that's really going to fill those gaps and help increase the conductance. This is not going to fix the chip. We've already fixed the chip with the pressure after heating the motherboard. This is going to make it so that it doesn't have the problem again. So we've put a very thin layer of the thermal glue on top of both the heatsink area where we're going to attach back to the CPU and where we're going to attach back to the GPU. And so we're going to turn this around and just put this right back in place, right on top of where the penny is. and then we're going to reattach the screws. So here we are a couple of days later. Computer's all back together, and as you can see, it resumes from sleep quickly. So the computer's been repaired with 1 penny and some $10 worth of thermal compound.